All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And as you can see in the title, would you look at that? Okay, would you look at that? And this lesson was inspired by two videos. This is the first one by Haran Amathga. Breaking news, breaking good news. And the second one was one that I also saw by the elder brother Yashalam, GMS Watchman. It's a miracle, you know, and then and so on and so forth. And then this is the article. Okay, this is the article right here. And so, I just wanted to do a, a lesson on it, considering that this is one of the major prophecies that it has to come to pass, okay, before the destruction comes and before ultimately we get delivered out of here. Lord willing would be of the elect. And, something that I observed as well concerning this Revelation 13 and 16, right? The prophecy of the MARK, okay, or the MOTB as we use the acronym for it, which when you look at the the C hips that go into the mind or the head or the brain, there are a lot of different designs that they have for them, and a lot of different companies. Like you have Neuralink, but you also have, I think, one is called Synchron or so. Then you have other companies that are manufacturing and designing and creating these plants that go into the heads, or the heads of people. But when you look at the kind of functionality they're using with that, they're using it more so for, at least they're claiming, for different levels of human, or BCI, brain computer interface, right? So being able to, for the computer to talk to your brain and the brain to talk to the computer, you have an interface, which is like the middleman, okay, the doorway, so to speak. And when you look more at the C hips that go into the hands, a lot of those are more so transaction based, where it's like your digital wallet. You can make purchases, you can unlock your car, you can unlock your door, you can do all these different things. But I mean, all in all, the functionality of a C hip, there's some very generic functionality shared across, whether it's in your head or it's in your hand. And the point is that this is actually happening in real time. So, there's something that I have a quick precept here that I want to go into, but there's something that we always have to keep in mind, which is that this right here in Amos 3 and 7, as it says, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. So the future is a secret that the Lord has revealed to his servants, the prophets. And this isn't a verse to be taken lightly, because the prophecies as pertaining to Habakkuk, the second chapter, they will not fail, right? The prophecies are going to come to pass. They're not going to lie. That is a given, because it's the word of the Lord and it doesn't come back to him void. The thing about it, or what fails, is when people are not able to interpret or break down or accurately decipher the prophecies. So they prophesy falsely. Okay, but somebody not being able to identify correctly what the prophecies are does not mean that the prophecies themselves are not valid. It just means that the person's break interpretation of it is incorrect. See, so and that's where you see a lot of going on right now, where there are a lot of groups, okay, that are, whether purposely, or maybe sincerely, they're not correctly breaking down the prophecy, one of the major prophecies, which is of the MOTB. But it doesn't mean that that prophecy is not real, or it doesn't exist. It's very well, you can see it for yourself. Okay, you can see it for yourself. And but each day that goes by, this is becoming more and more common use, common technology is being exposed to the minds of people more and more and more, because it's the direction, all right, it's the next step that the world is headed in. And it has to happen, and it will happen, because it's prophecy. Okay, this is what the Lord has said would happen. And we're here to prophesy and to warn you and to let you know that, hey, this is what's happening right now, and very soon this will become very, very mainstream, right? So it says company plans 50 people with brain C-hips to cure blindness, deafness, and depression. Okay, which is why the elder brother titled the video, "It's a Miracle," because when you read in the book of Revelation, let's go there real quick. Revelation 13. You notice it says, let me see, I believe it's in here. Uh, there we go. So Revelation 13 and 14, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth. Who's going to be doing the deception? Esau, Edom. Okay, Esau, Edom. Because when you really look at it, the he that's really behind the scenes pulling all these strings, okay, is primarily these elites. Okay, like the apostles have broken down, time and time again, when you deal with the dragon and the beast, okay, and all of that, you have the dragon that goes back to the ancient Roman Empire, but really it deals with the elites, because they're the ones that are behind the scenes controlling these things. And they don't just use America, okay? They're not tied to one country or one portion. They are like the puppet masters that are playing chess on a world scale, and they're moving pieces on a world scale. So they have certain parts that they push, like when you go to Revelation 16, for example, and it talks about the three unclean spirits as frogs, and that goes into the different aspects or um control, okay, or means of control, avenues of control that these elites use, which is their military, their financial system, or their law, or whatever, and their religious system. Okay. And for that, you have different, like you have London, for example, which is where the political aspect of things come from mainly. And then you have like the Vatican, which is where their religious aspect, how they control the masses, or they, whenever they need to spin things on the religious side, they can pull that string. And then you have the military side, which comes from Washington. See, so these elites, it's not just one country, it's not just America, right? But it's actually on a higher level. They have their hands in the back of the man behind the curtain, the water, and they're pulling this string here, that string here, this string here. Okay, so that they are the ones behind the scenes making all these things happen. It doesn't mean that Jacob Rothschild is taking a plane, and physically going and shooting people when it says that they control the military or they're doing this. Okay, but they give those high level orders, and then it trickles on down. So it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those keyword miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So in the presence. So how are they able to perform what we would call miracles in the sight of the beast? How do they have the power to do that? Well, what is the power they're using? Technology. Yeah, they have the spirits on the left hand side, but they're using technology. Because why would John, for example, call this a miracle? Well, when you go even back to the time when Yahushua was on the scene, he was performing what was called miracles, right? And what were some examples of that? Healing giving the blind their sight back, the lame, giving them, restoring their feet that they may walk, the deaf that they may hear. These were considered miracles. So imagine seeing in a vision, these devils being able to, there's somebody that's blind, but then you implant this thing into their head, and then all of a sudden they can hear or they can see again. Now keep in mind that when the prophets received these visions, sometimes they saw the visions in form of, metaphorically, meaning like they describe what they actually saw, but what they saw represents all right, certain things. And the Lord had it that way so that the information is there, but it's also hidden at the same time. And only those that he opens up their minds or spirits to can understand it. But I mean, I'm just speculating here, right? But hey, it could be that because there were certain parts of the visions that the prophets saw that were actual, like they saw the future basically. It was plain, it wasn't in a metaphorical form, right? So one example is Revelation 13 and 16, right? Where or 17. So in order for John to write this, for the apostle John to write this, he had to have actually seen people being denied access or being denied the ability to buy or sell things if they didn't have the MOTB, right? Or they weren't associated or initiated into the system. So he had to have actually seen that, which is why he wrote, and that no man might buy or sell. Right. And it says, and he calls it. So he had to have seen the narrative that Esau is pushing, and the how how hard Esau is gonna go in order to make people take this device. So he saw all of that, and that's why he wrote that. Now, keep in mind that these things are happening in this time. We're speaking a different language. Things are different. People are dressed differently. People are, they interact differently with each other. Transactions are done in a different way. But it's also possible that the Lord, while giving John, the apostle John, this vision, might have made it in a way where, though, maybe he heard people speaking, right? Maybe he heard, he saw visions of people in line, getting C-hipped. He saw maybe visions of people getting turned away from stores, for not having the C-hip. He saw people getting put into their heads, right? Like we're seeing today. And maybe the Lord could have had it to where maybe they were speaking a different language, but it was clear to him what was going on. And he understood. Oh, I see. So this is the device. This is the thing that they're basically trying to force everybody to take. And in order for him to say all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, means that he actually had to have seen that. The Lord had to have shown him people, from children to adults, from those that were rich to those that were poor. You can differentiate between somebody that's rich and somebody that's poor. Okay, somebody that's in jail, somebody that's free. He could see all of that and see that every single one was still subject to receiving this thing. And then he could see what was the consequence of not taking it. Right. So in order to have written these things, the Lord had to have showed him these things. Going back to this article here, or going back to the topic at hand, which is that the Amos 3 and 7, the Lord reveals these things to the prophets. So that is not something to be taken lightly. These prophecies are real. It's not magic. It's not coincidence. It's not fairy tale. This is happening before your eyes. Okay, and it's going to happen more and more and more, and it's going to become more and more commonplace as they're pushing towards CBDCs, everything digital. They're going to end up at the C-hip. They're going to end up at the C-hip because the same people pushing for CBDCs are the same people who have published papers and come on video and publicly stated that, hey, our end goal is C-hip people. Put these things inside of people. Tie it to the digital system. Tie it to the monetary system. They have said that. So this is just a phase one of their plan, or maybe one step in their program or in their plan. That's how we can tell you that, hey, they're going to bring this thing out, but eventually it's going to lead to this. This is the end goal. They're going to get here. Okay, they're going to get here. So everybody that's denying it and, they're saying this and they're saying that, guess what? When that time comes, whether it's through chaos or whatever it is, if you don't have the answers, you're not going to be stable. And like I've said before, people are going to be asking two main questions: what's going on and what do we do? What is going on and what do we do? But just like the Lord told the disciples, about when they were being brought, like when you're brought before magistrates, don't meditate on what you're going to say, because in that same hour it'll be given to you. Well, then think about that also in terms of what we're actually going to do when all hell breaks loose. Because you can plan and plan and plan, but what the Lord is actually going to put in your spirit to do at that time, he might just do it at that very time. when shit hits the fan and things start going wild, at that very moment, the Lord might just put it into your head, boom, nope, don't go that way. Nope, don't make that decision. Nope, go this way. Contact such and such. Say this, go here, put this here, plan this here. See? So it's going to be, people are going to want to be around the prophets very, very soon. And it's interesting how the Lord set up that dynamic, because right now people walk by us and they don't want to be around us. They walk by and it's like with strange looks, like, what the hell? But the scriptures say, right there, men wondered at, so we're a spectacle. So people walk by and they look like, what the hell? What's going on here? And they're very hesitant. They don't want to come around. Some people, they come around, they see the sign, but it's not a thing that attracts the public, where they want to come and be a part of it, which is okay, because when all hell breaks loose, that is exactly what they're going to want to do. That stability is gonna be a very, very big thing. That's why the Lord said in Isaiah 13 that I will make a man more precious than fine gold. That is talking about an Israelite man, all right, that is of the elect. They're the ones that are going to be made highly prized, and the top men. So now this is the book of Isaiah 34:16, right? As I was mentioning earlier about the prophecies not failing, they're going to come to pass. That's why we're able to say with confidence that the MOTB is the CHIP, and it's going to come to pass very soon. So it says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. So what's the book of the Lord? The book of the Lord is the Bible. All right. Because who's the Lord? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It says, and read. It also says in the book of Revelation, blessed is he that readeth. And a lot of people don't read. And if they do, they don't read enough. No one of these things shall fail. When it says read, it's not just glancing your eyes over words on the paper or on the screen. Read to understand. Read to digest. That's how you eat the roll. When you read and you're not actually intaking that information, then you're not eating the roll. You're just looking at it. It says, no one of these things shall fail, right? Which is going into what? The prophecies. Because they are written in the book and they are meant to happen. They are meant to come to pass. Let's look up the word fail. We have what? Irad or Idar. Okay. And it says to be lacking, to fail, to leave lacking. See, so that's not going to happen. All the words in this book are going to come to pass. None shall want her mate. All right, meaning that there's no book that is going to be able to be matched or mixed or crossed with this book, which is the book of the Lord. This book stands alone. Now, there are other books that may give more context or whatnot, but ultimately the Bible doesn't need any other book in order to hold its value. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. Yeah, gathered. Well, first the words of the Lord together, but also the Lord's elect. Okay, so that's why, as we say, really it's not us. We're not gathering the elect. It's the Spirit of the Lord that's doing that. He's just using us as vessels to get that word out. Okay. Now this is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 5 verse 9. It says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Why are they going to do that? Because of the desperation. They're going to turn on each other. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. So what's the Lord going to do? The Lord's going to wait till is most needed, right? Where the ratings of this truth skyrocket, and he's just going to pull it off the market. And it's going to be nowhere to be found. And shall be sought of many. See, there you go. And yet not be found. And it's very interesting as to where it was freely open. I mean, in abundance. These lessons that we do you know how valuable these lessons are? It's just that it's like shining a flashlight in the daytime. That's kind of like what's happening right now. It's like shining a flashlight in the daytime, and people are just they don't really see it. They don't really see the light because it's in the daytime. But wait till the nighttime comes, right? Wait till the nighttime comes, and then you shine that light. That's when everybody's gonna want the flashlight. So that's the same thing now. These videos are valuable, but only the elect see the value. So it isn't until the darkness comes that everybody else is gonna want to, damn, yo, if I could just find one, find one of them, or I just want to ask them with one question, you know. And guess what? You ain't gonna get it. Well, you're not gonna get it. You ain't gonna get it. So as it says, it shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. So it's like everything that can go wrong will be going wrong. One land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. So in that time, if you're not of the elect, if you don't have the Spirit of the Lord with you, it doesn't matter how much you pray or hope or whatever. It's not going to avail to anything. And the Lord has already set that already, has preordained that. So we know that going into the time of Jacob's trouble. It says they shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. And that's not going to be a fun time. So you better get it while it's hot and get it while you can. This is the book of Revelation 21:5. It says, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. So it's very important that we understand these words, because we know that it is true and we know that it is faithful and we know it's going to come to pass, but we need to know what is going to come to pass and understand it and be able to warn the sheep. And those that are of the elect will take heed, and those that are not, well, they'll just get caught up out there. So this is happening. Okay, and it is good news. All right, it is good news. I've linked both of these videos in the description box so you can check them out, watch them and be edified. But this is where we're at. Okay, time only moves forward. Time only moves forward. So at some point, you are bound to meet prophecy, because time is going to think of time like a train that is carrying us as passengers to destinations, and those destinations or train stops are prophecies. So what's going to happen, regardless of how long it takes, you will get there because you're moving. We're not standing still. We're moving towards prophecy each day, each second, each minute. We're moving towards prophecy. All right. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachah, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.